The Chicago Avenue Project is a mentorship program, first and foremost. We bring artists in as volunteers to work with children to create 10-minute plays, directors, playwrights, and actors.
And in one kind of production, children are paired up with a playwright who writes a play specifically to highlight the strengths and talents of that particular child. And then in the second kind of production is where kids write. They go through an intensive playwriting class, and then they write a play of their own, exploring an idea or something that they're passionate about.
They are setting up an environment where a kid is writing a play for two adult actors to write in. And these adult actors are actors from the city who act in, major productions around the city. And for a kid to write a play for them, that just breaks all the rules. My first play I wrote, I wrote the play, then, I saw it being performed. I think I cried laughing when I saw it. I think I cried because it was so funny, and I cried because I couldn't believe that something that I wrote was being performed. There's a lot of things going on in my household and my family, and I didn't get a lot of attention. Just for someone to really give you attention, it makes the child feel important, and that I can do anything, because if I can write a play for adult actors, I can do anything.
The String Studio is a small part of Minnesota Youth Symphonies that goes into Anderson School, teaches 3rd and 4th graders beginning violin and viola lessons. I teach small groups of 2, 3, or 4 kids at a time. I'm not sure that any of them could afford to take private lessons. I think it's important to learn music because of your soul. It makes you feel things that nothing else makes you feel.
I was amazed when I first started teaching for the String Studio program. There were students in there that had a need beyond anything that I'd ever experienced in my own life before. One of the students I had was terrified of being even in a group class of 4 children. And eventually I got permission to teach her individually, and what I came to find out was that her 2 brothers had been shot in drive-by shootings, and she was a terrified little girl. And that music opportunity gave her a personal connection and somebody who would listen and somebody who actually cared about her.
At Free Arts Minnesota, we provide arts and mentorship for abused and homeless children.
And so with Free Arts, with the kids, when you see them work together and they take a camera or write a poem or paint something, it's just going very, very deep to bring forward who they are.
These children have really suffered a lot, both physically and mentally. Some of the children simply feel invisible in our society. And what we do is we make them visible.
The end goal is to have their particular art and their poem framed and to do an exhibit, to give people an opportunity to shine. And I remember one father whose daughter did the exhibit. You could just feel the pride exuding out of him about this is his daughter that had this piece of work that she created, exhibited for the rest of the world to be able to see. It was really a precious moment.
There's no physical theater that is 10,000 Things theater. The shows are built to be transportable so that we can go to a prison, a homeless shelter, or wherever the call may be.
We have to be clear, we have to be urgent, we have to be lively. We're much more accountable to making sure that what we do is connecting with our audience. And when you know you can have any kind of human being in your audience, it really forces you to kind of look for the human core in what it is that you're doing, so that, whether it's a female inmate or a male homeless person or a youth living in a housing project or a corporate CEO. Then you have to just figure out what is it we all share in common that will interest all of this diversity of people that we perform for.
We were doing a production called The 3 Lives of Lucy Cabral, and we were that day at a prison that we had never been to before, and it was a higher security prison. These guys were mean looking, they were tough, they had no teeth, tattoos, and they sat on the floor surrounding the stage, our little area that we had sort of taped out on the floor, and we began the show. And they began to jeer at us a little bit. But then there's a scene in the show where the leading actress and the leading man finally get together, and where the man picks up the leading actress and holds her up, and she, has an ecstatic expression on her face of true connection and love and fulfillment. And at that moment, there was dead silence, and you saw the expression on these men's faces that how deeply they needed this. They drank it like a thirsty man in the desert would drink a glass of water.
United Arts is a very unique funding organization in the Twin Cities and really nationally. As a fund, we are focused completely and totally on the arts. Since 1954, that's always been our focus.
We have been funded through United Arts since we've been writing requests for Chicago Avenue Project. United Arts is really about a lot of individual donors leveraging their collective power in support of the arts, and Chicago Avenue Project is about a community of artists leveraging their collective power in support of kids.
United Arts really, from the very first year, gave us one of our first 2 grants. I think the thing that 10,000 Things and United Arts shares in common is a desire to touch people's lives with the arts who ordinarily don't have access to the wealth of the arts.
I believe so much in the work I do because these organizations, they're working together to bring communities together, to bring people together, to change lives.
We help kids heal themselves through art.
We bring young people together to make music.
We bring award-winning theater to people with little access to the wealth of the arts.
United Arts, changing lives through the arts.